My favorite story in sports right now, across the board, is the University of Colorado hiring Deion Sanders as their new head coach. I love it. I absolutely love it. Colorado has gone prime time. They brought in Coach Prime, and it feels like a really big deal. It's definitely very, very interesting. And whether he wins or loses, I guarantee, watching Colorado with Deion Sanders as their head coach is going to be really fun and really interesting. But I think they're going to win. Like, Deion Sanders' presence, I'm not even sure how long he's going to be at Colorado, because I think this could be a stepping stone job where he's going to do really well, win a lot of games, turn Colorado around. And if he wins a ton of games, big programs with a lot more money and even more, an even bigger fan base that cares, they're going to come knocking. An SEC program, a high-level Big Ten program. I see Colorado as maybe not the final destination even for Deion Sanders. But Deion Sanders has this attitude, like, it feels like he could build a program similar to the classic University of Miami teams, the U that won national titles and had all these great NFL players. The swagger, the confidence, the bold statements, and I really like it. Deion Sanders doesn't feel like a salesman, even though he is. But when he talks, I actually believe him. And I really like how direct of a communicator he is. There's a video on a YouTube channel called Well Off Media. It's where Deion Sanders posts all his content. He's got cameramen that follow him, and it's really a great marketing tool to help him in recruiting, to help him build his brand. I assume it's also his media company, Well Off Media. But I've watched the video 3 different times, and it's a gold mine for incredible quotes, really good information, and I think a good lesson in direct communication. There's a video called Deion Sanders Meets with the Colorado Football Team Players for the First Time. I highly, highly recommend you go watch it. But it's a video of Deion Sanders talking to his new team and his new football players, and it's, again, just chock full of so many great quotes. Now, for background, in case anybody somehow doesn't know, look, Deion Sanders played a while ago. It's very possible there are people who listen to the show who really aren't familiar with him. Deion Sanders is known as primetime. He's this legendary NFL player, a Hall of Famer, truly one of a kind. He was a shutdown corner. He actually played both sides of the football sometimes. He did some broadcasting work for NFL Network. But recently, Deion Sanders has been coaching at an HBCU college, HBCU school, Jackson State, in Jackson, Mississippi. And what Deion Sanders did for Jackson, Mississippi was a lot of great work in the community. He helped a lot of young men get scholarships and get on the football field and make money. And this year, he had an undefeated season. And on top of that, this is a guy who, at a small program with really crappy facilities, no knock on, Jackson State, but they're not state of the art. I think compared to Colorado, it's like going from a high school program to a college, D1 college program. It's literally just a massive jump forward in what they're going to have available to them with Deion Sanders' program. But at Jackson State, he was literally landing top recruits, which is insanity. I mean, he got a 5-star prospect and stole the kid from Alabama to come play at Jackson State in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, a tiny little HBCU school. It's really, really cool what he accomplished. And as Deion Sanders is talking to his new team at Colorado, he says a lot of stuff that's pretty harsh. And while it is harsh, it's also very honest and very authentic. And I really appreciate it because it's direct. There's no BS. He maybe says stuff that you don't like to hear. For example, he says 100 times, "I'm coming." He's like, "You better believe I'm coming. We're going to build this program. I'm coming." And he just, every other phrase he says, "I'm coming." And he really wants it known by the players. When they walk out of the room, they better know I'm coming. And there's a lot that comes along with that statement. He says Colorado has way better facilities than he had at Jackson State in Mississippi. And says his players at Jackson State would love the facilities at Colorado. There's a gratitude that's missing with the Colorado football program. He says a lot of guys at Colorado, they're ungrateful. They really don't appreciate the opportunity they've been given. And by the way, it's so genius to me that Deion Sanders has all of this on video. He's filming the entire interaction. So players can't go on Twitter after his meeting and complain. He can say, look, it's all out in the open. I filmed the entire thing. It's on video. Changes are coming. Like, there's this great quote. He says, I'm bringing my luggage, and it's Louis Vuitton. Like, I'm bringing players with me, better players. So we're going to replace you guys that I'm talking to right now. And there's a series of really, really amazing comments. He says, it's my job to get rid of guys who don't want it and won't work hard. You don't respect the opportunity you've been given. No more mess, no more putting up and losing. I'm changing everything. And I'm paraphrasing some things and throwing a lot of quotes together. But like he says, he encourages guys, jump in the transfer portal. The more of you that jump in the transfer portal, the more room you make. And then he at a point invites questions from players. They're all stunned looking at him just like, what just happened? We got a new coach and he's challenging us. He's calling us out. He says he's going to replace us. He wants us to transfer away. And they're just really quiet for a minute, like looking at him. And then he says, don't get outside and start talking when I'm right here. He wants them to ask him questions, and they do. And it's so interesting. Like, they ask, what's the offseason going to be like? And Deion Sanders goes, we're going to try to make you quit. Those of you we don't run off and get to transfer, we're going to try to make you quit this football team. We want the guys who stay. We want the guys who want to be here, who want to work and appreciate the opportunity. It's very clear he doesn't have a lot of interest in coaching the players who've cultivated the culture of losing at Colorado. And I like it, man. I just think it's brilliant, actually, this approach. To come out, be honest, be open. It's good for the players, too. I think a lot of people if there's anyone who misunderstood Deion Sanders' challenge and kind of calling out the players at Colorado, what is really important is he's made his intentions clear. He wants to win. He wants different players, guys who work hard. And I think by being so open about it and allowing players the opportunity to enter the transfer portal, he allows them to get whatever they want out of the opportunity too. So I just really appreciate the transparency. For Colorado, I think it's a genius move to hire Deion Sanders. They are a terrible program. They went 1-11 this year. Colorado is desperate to be relevant. And they're taking a chance on a coach who has never coached at this level before. But Colorado has nothing to lose. And it's even crazier. Like, they don't even know how they're going to pay for the guy. Like, they've admitted, we don't have the money yet to pay Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders clearly is like, I don't need the money. Like, I want to get paid a lot of money for sure. But he played for years. He broadcasted. He's there to help young men and build this program. He's like, we'll figure out the money later. I'm here. I'm taking the opportunity. Let's recruit. I like it, man. It's really cool. And it's fun to watch Deion Sanders. There's a video of him like touring their facilities, walking around, just going like, man, this is awesome. And he appreciates it. And when you are selling something that you believe in, it's a lot easier. Like I would have a hard time trying to imagine something like selling payphones, for example. I could not sell payphones to you because I think they're worthless. It's not a valuable thing. But a tool that I think is actually valuable, I think I could sell and work as a salesman if I ever needed to and get another job. When you're recruiting, you're selling players that what you've got going on is good. And Deion Sanders looks around at Colorado and says, it's pretty good. And he's got the perspective of coming from Jackson State, which was not as good as Colorado. I love it, man. Deion Sanders is going to bring a lot of eyeballs to the Colorado Buffalo program. And, by the way, there's this great moment during his interaction. There's a meeting where he's meeting the players for the first time. He says, I'm not going to have guys wearing hats in my meetings. And meanwhile, in the crowd of his new players, like 8, 11, 15 of them all have hats on. And only one guy really picked up on that and takes his hat off and goes, he looks around and he's like, clearly he doesn't like us wearing hats. I'm not going to wear my hat anymore. It's the little things. Like, that's the kind of guy that Deion Sanders, I think, might want. A guy who's paying attention to detail. A lot of the players look terrified and bewildered and like they didn't want to be there. I think it's very possible we see a mass migration of a lot of guys leaving Colorado. And that's good for Deion Sanders. He wants his guys. He wants to build it his way. And it's really interesting, man. Win or lose, it's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to generate a lot of excitement and attention for Colorado. But I do really think Deion Sanders is going to win. I believe in it. I love it. He's a player's coach. He's going to recruit a ton of really, really good players. He believes in it. And when you believe in what you're selling, it goes a long way. I think the Pac-12 is going to be better off. You know, USC, I think, should be nervous. University of Southern California, they lost to Utah twice this year. They lost in the Pac-12 title game. They missed out on the college football playoff. That's a bad look. So they're going to already, I think, take a small hit recruiting there. But there's this assumption USC is going to dominate the Pac-12. I'll tell you what, man. If anyone can steal recruits away from Lincoln Riley in Southern California, it's Coach Prime. I watched too many videos of Coach Prime, and I'm sucked in. Like, I want to run through a brick wall, and I've never met the guy. I haven't played football in a couple of years. Like, I'm like, okay, where do I sign up? Like, it's crazy the way he's not like, it's not a motivational speech in the term of, you know, you see a lot of like sticky people on YouTube. They got the music and it swells up in the background and they say the right words. Deion Sanders isn't saying inspiring stuff. He's actually challenging people and saying, look, I have high expectations. You better meet them. And I was watching the video like, am I going to lose my job? I'm like, wait a minute, no, I don't even play for Coach Sanders. But it's that level of intensity, and I love it. I go back to this. I think Deion Sanders could build a program similar to what I saw when I watched the ESPN 30 for 30, the U, and the Miami Hurricanes of old that were dominant and NFL players everywhere, just beat the crap out of people. It's that level of swagger and confidence and fun. And there's not a lot of people who could get away with being what Deion Sanders is, but he has this reputation that follows him. I'm sorry, but Nick Saban can't act the same way Deion Sanders does. He didn't play. He's not Coach Prime. He's not Primetime. He's not Deion Sanders. And it's just one of a kind moment that I love. And I think Colorado's going to start getting really big recruits. And it's kind of funny. Colorado doesn't even seem to fully understand Deion Sanders. They know he's a good thing. They know they're glad he's coming in. They know it's going to generate attention. But like the athletic director was introducing Deion Sanders to the team in his meeting. And he's going on about character and all this stuff. And it's like, Deion Sanders doesn't care about any of the fluff he just said. I mean, I'm sure he cares about doing stuff the right way and being a good man and all this stuff. But number one to Deion Sanders is winning and producing and helping young men. I think, honestly, Deion Sanders is building an empire. He's bringing his son with him to be their quarterback. He's got his family everywhere. He's got this big posse everywhere he goes. He makes big entrances. I think right now, it's my favorite thing happening in sports. I am sucked in. I'm drawn to it. I love it. It's fun. It's highly entertaining. I look up the YouTube channel, Well Off Media. It's like my new favorite reality show. It's so interesting. And I just tell you what, man, I think not only is Deion Sanders going to win, he's going to do it with incredible style. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think the college football world has to take notice. Like, he didn't just come in and do this players meeting and say the words, I'm coming, like 100 times for the players in that room. He was sending a message to the rest of the Pac-12. Things are about to change here at Colorado, and you got to contend with me in recruiting, on the field, in everything. And I am going to do everything I can to try to win, and I'm going to bring this confidence and level of swagger like you've never seen before. And I'll tell you what, man, I've said it like 3 times, it's the best thing happening in sports. If you haven't paid attention or haven't seen anything going on with Deion Sanders, it is, wow. I cannot wait until we get to watch them next year at Colorado. I don't know what it's going to look like year one. It might take a while before they really get winning, but I'll tell you what, I really do believe that Deion Sanders is going to win long-term at Colorado, and maybe he's going to leave. Maybe he's going to go somewhere else after that, but my goodness, is it fun what's happening with Coach Prime in Colorado.